أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من همزات الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله على ما أنعم، وله الشكر على ما ألهم، والثناء بما قدم من عموم نعم ابتداها وسبوغ آلاء أصلاها وتمام منن ولاها. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته المظلومين المعصومين المنتجبين الأخيار، الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم صل وسلم على مولانا وولي أمرنا الكهف الحصين وغياث المضطر المستكين، إمام زماننا مولانا حجة ابن الحسن المهدي صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد واجعلنا من خيار أعوانه وأنصاره والمستشهدين بين يديه، واللعن الدائم الأبدي على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. وأما بعد، قال الله تبارك وتعالى في محكم كتابه المبين: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا يحيى خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Respected brothers and sisters, in the beginning I would like to offer condolences for the martyrdom Shahadat of our ninth Imam, Imam Muhammad ibn Ali al-Jawad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq to visit the shrine in the city of Qadamain, the shrine of Imam al-Jawad, the shrine of Imam Musa ibn Ja'far alayhi as-salam in our life, and to give us tawfiq to receive their intercession, shafa'ah, on the day of judgment. ببركة صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. Inshallah, in tonight's discussion we will discuss about different aspects of the life of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. First of all, a brief biography of the life of Imam alayhi salam, and then inshallah the behavioral aspect of the life of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. After Allah, salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. As you know, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam is our ninth Imam after the Holy Prophet, or the ninth successor of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Imam alayhi salam was born on 10th of Rajab, the year 195, in the city of Medina. And Imam alayhi salam was poisoned and he was murdered in the city of Baghdad, the capital of Iraq right now, or the capital of the Abbasid Caliph during that time. The last day of the month of Dar-ul-Hikmah, same as his father Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, that the historians mention the last day of the month of Safar. Some said 29th, some said 30th, some said 28th. This is same as Imam Jawad alayhi salam. They said في آخر ذي القعدة. So it could be 29th of the Qa'dah, it could be 30th of the Qa'dah, same as today or tomorrow in the city of Baghdad, the year 220. And it means Imam Jawad alayhi salam passed away when he was at the age of 25. And he was the leader and the Imam of the Shia after his father, Al-Imam Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. For 17 years. What does it mean? It means Imam Jawad alayhi salam took the responsibility of Imam when he was at the age of 8 or 7. And it makes a big deal for the Shia, for the followers of Ahlul Bayt of that time, to follow a child who has 7 years old or who has 8 years old. If you come to us to say, Sheikh Hassan, do you mean our resident alim is a guy with 8 years old? Will you go to that center? Impossible. Do you tell me I have to go to listen to a Maulana who is 7 years old, 8 years old? We will discuss, inshallah, about these important and hard tests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the people of the time of Imam Jawad alayhi salam, which will be our test. How? We will discuss about it, inshallah ta'ala, after your loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. First of all, the birthday of Imam Jawad alayhi salam was hidden. No one knows or no one knew that Imam Jawad alayhi salam was born except a few amount of people. Why? Because Ma'mun himself, he was a very wise person. We will discuss about him inshallah ta'ala. He was a very wise and knowledgeable person. He wanted to kill the son of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. He didn't want to see any progeny of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. That's why Shia, they didn't know that Imam al-Rida alayhi salam had a son by the name of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. When Imam al-Rida alayhi salam passed away, the amount of people, the few among the closest people to the Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, they came and told people that the Imam after Imam al-Rida alayhi salam is his son Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. They surprised that who is the Imam who's going to lead us after Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. Suddenly they saw a child, 7, 8 years old, came when they wanted to pray on the body of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. Ma'mun himself, he came and said, I want to pray on the body of Imam alayhi salam. Suddenly they saw a child, 7, 8 years old, he came and he pushed Ma'mun. He said, La yusalli ala al-Imam illa al-Imam. No one can pray on the body of an Imam, an infallible, a ma'soom, but a person who is also infallible. So they understood that the Imam after Imam al-Rida alayhi salam is that child, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. After that, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam disappeared and Ma'mun didn't see Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam anymore. When people of Mashhad, Marv or Khurasan, when they found out that Ma'mun, he poisoned Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, Ma'mun found it's very difficult for him to stay in Khurasan. Why? Because the Persian, the people of Iran, they loved Ahlul Bayt. They were able to sacrifice themselves for Ahlul Bayt, for Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. So when they understood that Ma'mun is the person who poisoned Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, Ma'mun changed his capital, his paytaht from Marw to Baghdad, exactly 6 months after the martyrdom of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. When he moved to Khurasan, he decided to go to Hajj. When he went to Hajj, he went to the grave of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you know the story, a king, a leader, a famous leader, an arrogant leader, when he wants to enter a city a few days before that, Ma'mun is coming. So the day that Ma'mun reached Medina, kids, children, they were playing in the streets of Medina. When they saw the soldiers of Ma'mun, all of them, they ran away. What Imam and Jawad alayhi salam stayed. And you know the story, I'm going to tell you the complete story. People, the kids, they ran away, only Imam and Jawad alayhi salam stayed in the center of the city. When Ma'mun entered Medina, when he saw that all people have gone, other than Imam and other than this child, 7, 8 years old, he's surprised. He said, why didn't you leave? Why are you here? What are you doing here? You didn't see my security. You are not afraid of my security. Look at the response of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Sometimes we need to teach our children to say no. to what is wrong. Yes, respecting elders is one of the pillars of Islam. It's one of the high manners of Islam, but not for everything. If they see something is wrong, if an elder inviting them to do something bad, tell them to say no, even to the elders, if they are ordering you to do something bad. Look at the response of Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Imam alayhi salam said, أيها الخليفة لم يكن بالطريق ضيق لأوسعه عليك بذهابي. O Khalifa, or the Caliph, the street is not narrow, so I can expand that way if I go. The way is not narrow, it's not deep, it's not thick. If I go, you will see more people or more space over there. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لِي جَرِيمَةٌ فَأَخْشَاهُ. And I'm not guilty to be afraid of that, to run away, to escape from you. وَلَا أَظُنُّ أَنَّكَ تُعَاقِبُ مَنْ لَا ذَنْبَ لَهُ. And I don't think that you're gonna punish a person who didn't do anything wrong. So Ma'mun was surprised. Who is this child who is talking to me eloquently with this great language? He said, who are you and what's your name? Imam alayhi salam said, Ana Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Musa ibn Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ma'mun said, yes, you are really the son of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, the child that I saw him in Mashhad. He wanted to go to hunting. Look, subhanAllah, this is the trip of the kings, the rulers. They go to Medina to visit the grave of Rasulullah, but they go to hunting and for sale. Ma'mun, he had a big bird that he trained that bird for hunting. They call it Dar-ul-Hikmah. And this kind of bird, I don't know, I haven't experienced it, but the people of Saudi and maybe Iraq, they have seen this kind of bird. They are trained to hunt special animals, like a gazelle, like something important. So Ma'mun had this big bird. He went to hunting and he freed that bird and something valuable for his dinner. A sheep, a gazelle. After a few hours, that bird came back, while in his claw was a small fish. Ma'mun surprised. I trained you to hunt big animals like gazelle, like ghazal, sheep, something valuable, not just a small fish. Ma'mun surprised. He said there will be something behind this story. That this animal, that this is trained to hunt big animals, it hunts only a small fish. He said, I will go and ask and test that child if he is truly son of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam or not. He said, I went back same way. I saw that people, they ran away when they saw him, but Imam Jawad alayhi salam, same as before, he stayed over there. He had that small fish in his hand. Ma'mun told him that, oh, the son of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, I went to hunt, and I hunt something which I had it in my hand. What do you think? What did I hunt? Look at the response of Imam alayhi salam. Imam alayhi salam said, Ya Ma'mun, إن الله تعالى خلق بمشيئته في بحر قدرته سمكا صغارا تصيده بزاة الملوك والخلفاء فيختبرون بها سلالة أهل. O Ma'mun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created by His will, by His irada, some small fishes in oceans. That's corrupt and oppressors, khulafa and kings will go and hunt those fishes to test awliya Allah and the progeny of Ahlul Bayt. Meaning, O Ma'mun, you have in your hand a small fish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them for a day that will come that you will test the progeny of Ahlul Bayt with that small fish. You have a small fish in your hand. Then Ma'mun himself, he said, حَقًّا أَنْتَ ابْنُ الرَّضَى. In reality, it's true that you are the son of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. And you are the Imam of the Shia. Later on, Ma'mun said, I have to do the same that I did to Imam al-Rida alayhi salam to him. If he stays in Medina, he will do the same as his father Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. He will gather an army against me, so I need to take him to Baghdad. When Imam alayhi salam was at the age of 8 or 7, he captured Imam al-Rida alayhi, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam forcefully to the city of Baghdad. A month after that, in the month of Rajab, he told Ma'mun al-Abbasi, he told his ministers, his people, that I'm going to marry my daughter al-Fadl to this child, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. While Imam alayhi salam was about 9 or 10 years old. People, the ministers, the followers of Ma'mun, they said, Ma'mun, don't do that. Don't expose yourself. He's a child. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't have knowledge. Don't do that. And you know the story, what happened. Ma'mun told his ministers that debate him. Challenge him. If there was anyone to debate with him, to ask him a question that he doesn't know the answer, I will not choose him as my son-in-law. But you know what happened? Yahya ibn Aktham came, the scholars of the time from Baghdad, from Samarra, from Medina, they came. They asked all of their questions, and Imam alayhi salam answered all their questions. To the point that Ali ibn Ibrahim, one of the companions of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam, and Imam al-Jawad, he said in one gathering, in one meeting, they asked more than 30,000 questions, and Imam alayhi salam answered all of them in one day. While he was at the age of 10. The hadith that Ali ibn Ibrahim said, if we can find it, صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد. He said, استأذن على أبي جعفر قوم من أهل النواحي. A group of people came to debate Imam al-Jawad عليه السلام. فأذن له فسألوه في مجلس واحد عن 30,000 مسألة فأجاب وله 10 سنين. They asked 30,000 questions and Imam alayhi salam answered all their questions. In one day, you may ask, Shaykh, it's impossible. If we say day is 24 hours, Imam alayhi salam was not in the masjid all the time to answer their question. Maybe he was there about 6 hours, 7 hours. If they want to ask the question, it will take 30 minutes, 30 seconds. If Imam alayhi salam want to answer them, it will take 30 seconds. So it's impossible, 30,000 questions in one day. No. Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, when he mentioned this hadith, he explained this hadith. Because we have the questions of, some of the questions of people in the books. Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi said not Imam alayhi salam would answer all their questions with details. Imam alayhi salam would answer them with yes or no. And sometimes Imam alayhi salam would say details, sometimes Imam alayhi salam wouldn't say details. And this is the knowledge of Imam. While he was at the age of 10, sometimes Imam alayhi salam would answer the questions of people before they say their questions. Before they say what we want, Imam alayhi salam would say, this is the answer of your question. Look at this narration. روي أن أحدهم قال له. One of them came to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam in the same meeting to ask Imam al-Jawad a question. فقال له جعلت فداك. May I be sacrificed for you, Imam al-Jawad? Can I ask a question? فقال له. Imam alayhi salam answered him, لا تقصر. Do not pray qada. Do not pray qasr. Pray complete salat. Do not break your salah. Say can't. Pray kamil. وذهب. That person he left. They came to Imam Jawad alayhi salam a day after that. They said, the guy who came yesterday who wanted to ask question, you told him لا تقصر. Do not pray kamil. Pray qasr. Naqis. What was his question? He didn't ask his question. قال عليه السلام هذا ملاح في سفينة. He sells salt and he is working and his job is to travel. He works in a big ark. He bought for example salt from one city. He travels to another city. He sells it over there. He is mallah. He sells salt. And the traveler, his salat is common. If a person is traveler, for example, if we have truck drivers that they work, their job is to travel from Chicago to Milwaukee to Los Angeles. If their work is to travel, to not stay in one place, their salat is common. And during the month of Ramadan, they need to fast. So they shouldn't say, I'm a traveler, I'm working in multiple cities, I don't stay in one city 10 days or in my home country. It doesn't matter. Since they are working and their job is to travel, their salat is common. Imam alayhi salam answered his question before he asked what he wants. This is the ilm of Imam alayhi salam at the age of 10. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Imam alayhi salam, his kunya is Abu Ja'far. So whenever you heard Abu Ja'far alayhi salam, قال Abu Ja'far means Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Also Abu Ja'far means Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, father of Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam had multiple titles or alqab, like Jawad al-Imam. The Imam, his name is Muhammad ibn Ali. But most of us, we know this Imam by the name of Jawad al-Imam, the generous of Ahlul Bayt, the generous of Imams alayhi salam. Another title of Imam alayhi salam is Imam al-Taqi. We will talk about it inshallah. Another title of Imam alayhi salam is Bab al-Murad, the door of requests. Why? Why Imam alayhi salam had these titles and alqab? First of all, Imam alayhi salam is famous as Jawad al-A'imma. The reason, as I mentioned, after Ma'mun al-Abbasi captured Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam to Baghdad, it appears that Imam alayhi salam is free, but in reality Imam alayhi salam was under the eyes of the Khulafa, Ma'mun, and the soldiers of Ma'mun. Imam alayhi salam was not able to talk to people. Imam alayhi salam was not able to go to the houses of people to answer their questions. So how would Imam alayhi salam deliver the responsibility of Imamah? With some bags that Imam alayhi salam would put some coins, golden or silver coin, dirham or dinar, and he would give it to people. Ma'mun and his soldiers, they thought that these are bags. And Imam alayhi salam is a generous person. He is able to help people. That's why Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, every morning after Salatul Fajr, he would go outside of his house. And of course, he was surrounded by the soldiers of Ma'mun. He would go outside of the house, he would give some bags to people. We say someone is generous. We say someone is Jawad. Someone is Jawad when you ask him. For example, you know that, it's an example, Brother Abu Ali. You know that Brother Abu Ali is a generous person, but you have to ask him. Abu Ali is a respected brother of mine, so all the time I say his example in Salatul Jum'ah in our programs. He is a generous person, but if you want from him money, you need to ask him. Brother Abu Ali, I need $10,000. Brother Abu Ali, I need $1 million. He will give, he will pay. It doesn't matter as much as you want, but you need to ask him. It shows his generosity. But sometimes a person is generous without asking him. A person is able to help you even before you say that I need help me. It was the manner of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. People, they couldn't talk to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. People couldn't ask Imam al-Jawad that they need 10,000 dinar, 10,000 dirham. Imam alayhi salam would give them bags of money. When they opened the bags, they saw that in the bag is 10,000 money, as much as they needed. That's why Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam named Jawad al-Ilm, the generous of Ahlul Bayt. And on the other hand, our ulama encouraged us, if you want rizq, if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to increase your sustenance, your rizq, back Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. He is the generous of Ahlul Bayt, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. لذكره صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد. So one of his titles is Jawad al-Imam, the generous of Ahlul Bayt. Another title, he was Bab al-Murad. There is a door, there is a gate in the shrine of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, Allah wa iyyakum, named Bab al-Jawad. When you enter the shrine of Imam al-Jawad from this door, you will be in front of the Darih of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Inshallah, a day together, we can go, we enter the shrine of Imam al-Jawad from Bab al-Murad, ببركة صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. He was Bab al-Murad. Sometimes in the bags of Imam alayhi salam were coins, money. But sometimes in the bags of Imam alayhi salam were the salvation of the problems of the people. A person by the name of
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad sallallahu
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. a person by the name of Ishaq ibn Ismail. Whatever he did to have a child, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't bless him to have a child. Many times he went to the house of Imam Jawad alayhi salam to ask him, give me a dua, give me a hifz, give me something that I can recite, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give me a son, give me a child. One day he went to Imam Jawad alayhi salam. He said, this time I will ask him to give me a dua, to give me a hifz. He said, when I went closer to Imam alayhi salam, Imam gave me a bag. I said, oh my God, Ya Rasul, I don't need money, I don't need coins, I need you to give me something. He said in his heart, I need you to give me some dua, some hifz. He said, I couldn't ask Imam Jawad alayhi salam my request. Later on, when I went in my house, I opened the bag of Imam alayhi salam. I saw there is no coin, there was not any coin or money in the bag, but there was a small letter in the bag. It was written on the bag, Sammihi Ahmad wasbir alayhi. Name him Ahmad and be patient on him. I said, subhanallah, in the bag there is not any money, but it's written, Sammihi Ahmad wasbir alayhi. Name him Ahmad and be patient on him. He said, this is the answer of my request. Allah will give me a son, and I will name him Ahmad by the order of Imam alayhi salam. But what is the essence, or what is the reason of the word of Imam alayhi salam, and be patient on him? What will happen to my son? Or what will happen to me that Imam alayhi salam said, be patient? He said later on, months after that, my wife told me that she's pregnant. Later on, months after that, when she gave birth, she had this beautiful son. I named him Ahmad. My son Ahmad was very active. You see, some people, they cannot sit on the ground. Like there is a nail on the ground. They can't sit. So he said my son was a very active son. One day I entered my house when he was 3 or 4 years old. I saw him on the roof. I wanted to go on the roof to take him, to take care of him, to take him down. When I went on the roof, I saw that my son threw himself and he died. I understand the philosophy of the word of Imam alayhi salam. Sammihi Ahmad, name him Ahmad and be patient on him. This is the word of Imam alayhi salam. That Allah will give me a son, but he will die. Imam alayhi salam was Babul Murad. So if you have any request, if you have any haja, beg Imam Jawad alayhi salam. You will not leave the door of Imam alayhi salam empty-handed. ببركة صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Another title of Imam Jawad alayhi salam is that Al-Imam Muhammad Taqi. Taqi. What does Taqi mean? And why do we call Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam Taqi? Sometimes Taqi has taken literally from the word of Taqwa. Taqwa means piety. Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam was a righteous person, was a pious. Therefore they called him al-Imam al-Taqi. Another meaning of Taqwa, another meaning of at-Taqi, they said if Taqi has taken literally from the word of waqa, yaqi, waqaya, which is Taqi will be from that word, that phrase. Taqa, yaqi, waqaya, which is the order will be qeh, or the Arab they know, or ulama decide, which is qeh, means to protect that person. Waqa, yaqi, waqaya. Waqaya means protection. Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam named Taqi because he was protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? I will give you 2 stories. Even though we have more stories, I will give you only 2. Mu'tasim al-Abbasi, a Khalifa who came after brother of Ma'mun, who became to Khilafah after his brother Ma'mun. Mu'tasim, many times he tried to kill Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, but he couldn't. And in the last chance, last try, he told Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, he said, I will invite Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam to come in my house 2-3 times. When everything was normal, next time I will invite him and I will kill him in my house. He invited some scholars, some philosophers, some ulama to his house. He invited Imam. Imam went to his house. He answered their questions. Another time he invited ulama, he invited Imam al-Jawad, Imam went. For the 3rd time he invited Imam al-Jawad and he said, I will tell my soldiers when Imam is here to attack and kill Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam inside of my house. When he texts or when he sends someone to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam to invite him, Imam alayhi salam said, I will not come to your house. He said, why? You came last 2 times. This time come also. We have some scholars to answer their questions. Imam alayhi salam said, Inni akrahu majalisakum. I hate your majalis. I will not come to your majalis. He said, okay, I will invite the scholars for the 4th time. He invited the scholars, Imam alayhi salam came. He did several times, same strategy, to kill Imam alayhi salam, but the time that he wanted to reach his target, Imam alayhi salam said, I'm not coming to your majlis. I'm not coming to your gathering and your meeting. So Imam alayhi salam was taqi. He was secured by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one reason. Another reason that we called Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam taqi is that the beautiful story that has written in multiple books. I read this story in the book of Muntaha al-Amal for Allama Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi. You can also find it in Bahar al-Anwar, in the book of Kafi, and many other books about Hayat Ahlul Bayt, about the life of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, that they mentioned that the wife of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, daughter of Ma'mun, al-Fadl, she was very jealous. Especially when the second wife of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, Saman al-Maghribiyya, Imam alayhi salam had 2 wives, al-Fadl and Samanat al-Maghribiyya. Imam alayhi salam had 4 or 5 kids, 2 sons, 3 daughters. 2 sons of Imam alayhi salam are Musa Mubarqa, who has buried in the city of al-Akhtaran, Musa Mubarqa, and then Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam. He had 3 girls, Hakima Khatun, who was Wakil of Imam al-Askari and Wakil of Imam al-Mahdi Ajalullah Ta'ala Fajr al-Sharif, بذكره صلوات. And Umama and Khadija. She was very jealous. She doesn't have any child. And Imam alayhi salam loved Samaneh Maghribiyya. One day, when she saw that Imam alayhi salam, Imam al-Jawad is with Samaneh Maghribiyya, she got really angry. She went to her father Ma'mun alayhi la'anullah. Ma'mun was drunk that night. She said, oh my father Ma'mun, I cannot continue staying with Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. He liked his second wife, Samaneh Maghribiyya. She has child, but I don't have child. And he loved her more than me. I cannot stay and I cannot live with him anymore. Ma'mun was drunk. He told his servant by the name of Yasser. Ma'mun said, Yasser, give me my sword. I want to go and kill Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Ma'mun al-Abbasi with Yasser, his servant, and with al-Fadl. They went to the house of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, and Imam alayhi salam was sleeping in his bed. Yasser and al-Fadl, 2 witnesses of this story, they said, we saw Ma'mun al-Abbasi with his sword, he cut Imam alayhi salam in pieces. فضرب ضربة على عنقه. He hit the neck of Imam. فضرب ضربة على عضده. He hit the arm of Imam alayhi salam. He cut Imam in pieces. Day after that, the morning of the same night, when Ma'mun al-Abbasi alayhi la'anullah woke up, he saw Yasser and al-Fadl, they are crying. He said, what's going on? Why are you crying? What happened? They said, yesterday you killed Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. With your sword, you cut him in pieces. He hit his head and said, alayhi la'anatullah alaykum. May Allah curse you. Why didn't you avoid me from that action? Why you allowed me to do that action? What did I do? Al-Fadl told what happened yesterday. And she said, yesterday you went and in front of us, you cut Imam al-Jawad in pieces. And his body is in my house. Ma'mun said, let's go. Yasser, you go very fast to his servants. Go and gather the body of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam in a fabric and go and bury him in the desert of Baghdad. So no one can understand what happened. And we will tell people that Imam al-Jawad disappeared accidentally. We don't know what happened. Yasser said, when I went to the house of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, I saw Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam is doing wudu. And nothing happened to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. He said, I went closer. I said, Ya Imam al-Jawad. He said, I wanted to see if there is any sign of wound or injury on the body of Imam. I I said, Ya Rasulullah, can I give you some new clothes to change your dress, to change your clothes? He said, yeah, yes, give me some clothes. He said, Imam alayhi salam, all the time he would change inside of the house. But this time he changed his clothes in front of me. He said, and I didn't see any sign of wound or injury on the body of Imam alayhi salam. I went to Ma'mun. I said, Ma'mun, congratulations, do not cry. I saw Imam Jawad alayhi salam in my house, nothing happened to him. And there was not any sign of injury on the body of Imam alayhi salam. Ma'mun said, don't say that. It's impossible. You're telling that I cut his body in pieces. Your sister, let's go to see him. They went to Imam Jawad alayhi salam. They saw Imam Jawad alayhi salam healthy, and nothing happened to Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Then Imam Jawad alayhi salam told Ma'mun, this is Allah's will. That my destiny didn't come yesterday. Allah wants for me to be alive more, and you cannot change Allah's destiny. Ma'mun said, okay, what did you do? What was your dua? What was your hairs? Imam alayhi salam said, this is the hairs that Rasulullah taught Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, tell me that whenever you feel dangerous, you are in dangerous, do these hairs and write down these hairs and put it on your arm. That is famous by the name of Hirz Imam Jawad alayhi salam. I did it last night, and I tied it on my arm. So nothing happened to me barakat of this hairs. It's a very important hairs. Hairs Imam Jawad alayhi salam. If you search in internet, Ayatollah al-Bahjat Ridwanullah ta'ala alayhi, people asked him, you can find in YouTube his video, that we were afraid of evil eyes, the Nagar bad. We saw a jinn or shayateen in our dreams. What should we do? He said, your medicine is Hirz Imam Jawad alayhi salam. All the time, he's telling people that do Hirz Imam Jawad alayhi salam. For protection, for sustenance, for rizq, for anything you want, do Hirz Imam Jawad alayhi salam. And then Allameh Tabatabai Ridwanullah ta'ala alayhi, when he mentioned this miracle of Imam Jawad alayhi salam, he mentioned this poetry. He said, وَجَازَ فِي الْفِضَّةِ مَا كَانَ وِعَاءً لِمِثْلِ تَعْوِيذٍ وَحِرْزٍ وَدُعَاءٍ. There is no protection, there is no safety same as this hirz and dua. فَقَدْ أَتَى فِيهِ صَحِيحٌ مِنْ خَبَرٍ. We have in a hadith narration, in a sahih narration, عَضَدَهُ حِرْزُ الْجَوَادِ الْمُشْتَعَبِ. When Imam Jawad alayhi salam had these hairs on his arm, nothing happened to him. And Imam alayhi salam was saved by these hairs. That's why Imam alayhi salam named al-Imam al-Taqi. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was his waqaya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was his protection. But when the destiny comes, nothing can change it. Sheikh, it's impossible. You know, when we think about this story, they saw the body of Imam alayhi salam cut in pieces. How it's possible Imam alayhi salam is still alive? No. Nothing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is impossible. The same God who saved Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam here is the same God who saved and who changed the fire for Ibrahim to cold and a safety fire. Can you tell me a fire which is not cold? No. The essence of fire is that it will burn your hand if you get closer to that fire. But same fire became bardan wa salaman li Ibrahim. Became safe and cold for Ibrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Here we have the same God. Same God who saved Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, saved Musa, Prophet Musa alayhi salam. When his mother threw the cradle of the cradle of Prophet Musa in the river of Nile, and she thought that he's going to die. But Allah saved him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took the cradle of Musa to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh knew that a child will born in this land who will destroy my power and my government. And he would slaughter and kill all infant babies. But when he saw Musa alayhi salam, even though he knew that he is a baby who just born, but he allowed Imam Prophet Musa to raise in his house, in his castle. Same God saved prophets, saved Imam Jawad alayhi salam. So it's not impossible. We don't have anything impossible for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Same God who saved Prophet Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam saved Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib in the battle of Uhud. When all people, companions left Rasulullah, the only defender of Rasulullah was Ali ibn Abi Talib. After the battle finished, 2 nurses went to Amir al-Mu'mineen to help Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. They came to Prophet, they said, Ya Rasulullah, condolences, Ali ibn Abi Talib is going to die. Why? They said, Ya Rasulullah, as much as he has wound and injury on his body, whenever we stitch one wound, when we want to close the second wound, the first one will be open. So we cannot treat him, we cannot help him, he's going to die. Same God who saved Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, who the nurses said he is going to die, saved Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. So nothing is impossible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do not deny these stories if you say it's against my mentality, my mind. No, we don't have anything impossible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And in last try, he thought that the only way to finish Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam is to give poison to the wife of Imam alayhi salam, to poison Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam in the house of Imam alayhi salam. Because it spread, people started to love Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. And they wouldn't able to kill Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam outside of the house. So the Khalifa of the time, Mu'tasim alayhi la'anullah, he gave poison to the wife of Imam alayhi salam, al-Fadl. And he said, as much as you are jealous and you hate Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, go and give this poison to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Ajarakum Allah. A hadith and Maqtal mentioned Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam was fasting. After Salatul Maghribain, she offered a cup of juice or milk or water to Imam alayhi salam. Imagine Imam alayhi salam was fasting. Imam alayhi salam was thirsty. As soon as Imam alayhi salam swallowed that juice or water, Imam alayhi salam said, La'natullah alayki ya al-Fadl, fa'alti ma aradti. May Allah curse you, ya al-Fadl. You did what you wanted to do. العطش قد قتلني أعطني شربة من الماء. al-Fadl, you did you wanted to do, but give me a cup of water. Wallah, thirst is going to kill me. Give me a cup of water. Give me a cup of water. When al-Fadl heard that Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam is screaming and saying, Al-Atash, 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 I am thirsty, I am thirsty. What did al-Fadl do? Did she give water to Imam alayhi salam? No, Allah. She ordered maids and servants to come behind the door of the room to sing and dance so no one can hear Imam al-Jawad screaming. Hajarakum Allah. Our Imam was all alone in his room. He was saying, I am thirsty. Give me a drop of water. After minutes, when they didn't hear the voice of Imam alayhi salam, al-Fadl said, I turned the room. I saw the body of Imam alayhi salam is towards Qibla. رحم الله من نادى وإماما. رحم الله من نادى ومسموما. Then that al-Fadl, she carried the body of Imam alayhi salam on the roof of her house So no one can understand what happened to Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Ajalakum Allah, for 3 days the body of Imam alayhi salam was under the sun of Baghdad. After 3 days, when people understood that al-Fadl, she killed Imam alayhi salam, she went on the roof and she threw the body of alayhi salam, Imam, from the roof of the house. Yes, the tragedy of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam is a very hard tragedy. But whenever we mention the name of Al-Atash, whenever we remember a body was under the sun, whenever we remember a body was thrown from a roof, we remember Abi Abdullah al-Husayn. There is no day like your day, Ya Abu Abdullah. Yes, Ya Imam al-Jawad, you were thirsty. Your body was under the sun for 3 days. But Ya Imam al-Jawad, people covered your body. People attend your funeral. People buried your body. But Ya Hussein, there was not anyone to cover the body of the grandson of Rasulullah. There was not anyone to wash the body of him. والله مو عادة الميت تحضر كل هلا وتجي الأحباب وبعز تغسله. بس الحسين ظل وحيد بكربلاء. يا بس الحسين ظل وحيد كربلاء. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. بسم الله.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.